Mr. Chloe is 11 years old, and as often the case with older rabbits, he is nearly blind, and his left eye duct does not drain properly. In this case, you see in the video, natural eye tears have drained onto his fur. A few times a year the drainage is heavy enough to cause the fur to fall away from his skin, so I have to use a mild antibiotic and apply that to help the healing. Now, the day before this video was shot, Mr. Chloe's veterinarian in New York City flushed his left eye duct, so I'm hoping that with a clean face and the antibiotic drops that perhaps his current issue will clear up quickly and fur will come back to where the skin was exposed. When washing the bunny's face, be sure to use nothing stronger than baby shampoo. There's also mild shampoos available for kittens from your veterinarian. Depending on the bunny's personality, he may not stand for being held over the sink with running water, but Mr. Chloe is used to it for his entire life. I make sure the water is warm but not too hot and hold him firmly under the water stream, only contacting the affected area around his eye. I hold him in this position so that water doesn't indirectly fall into his ear canal. Just allow the warm water to saturate the area, gently massage it with your fingers, and if that works to remove deposits, you don't need to use shampoo, but if deposits remain, only use a drop or two of shampoo on the affected area. When applying eye drops, and as always when working with a rabbit, make sure he feels safe and is firmly planted on your lap while you are either sitting on a chair or on the floor. When Mr. Chloe was younger, it was more of a fight to keep him on my lap. However, he has mellowed a bit and allows me to work with him as needed. When applying the eye drops, just gently spread open his lower eyelid and apply the recommended dosage. Then close the lid and gently massage under the eye. In this case, I'm hoping the treatment will work its way into the eye duct. Now, since his eye was particularly in bad shape today, I was not able to remove all deposit from around the eye, but since bunnies have very tender skin, you must stay within the threshold of rubbing to avoid breaking that skin. So you can see his skin's a bit red. I'm using a Q-tip here to try and brush away as much as possible before drying and brushing. Now, this rabbit does not mind being under a warm blow dryer. Again, it's because he is used to it. Don't suddenly use a blow dryer on an older rabbit. The key is to break in the use gently and over time. I use a low setting and agitate the drying frequently to jar loose any fur as possible and help drying out the wet fur. On very warm days, the use of a dryer is not necessary, but it is chilly during this taping, so I don't want him running around the apartment with wet fur. You can set the dryer on something sturdy and just point it in your direction while you use your hands to rub his fur and help dry it out even further. And the bunnies love the attention of being petted anyway. I've been told before that this small kitten brush is really too harsh on a rabbit's skin, but this is the brush he has gotten used to over the years, and I just use it to pull off as much fur as possible, and he has already started shedding for his summer coat. And to prevent that dreaded hairball ingestion, I brush him every day right now until all the winter fur has been removed. I use the brush and I also use my hand to pull off as much loose fur as possible. There is another trick that I have found that works well, and that is to wet your hand or to use maybe even a damp cloth and work it across his fur. It pulls out a lot of the fur without having to use a brush. Just moistens the fur. A lot of it even comes off in your hand after moistening the fur. And using this brush along with pulling out loose fur, it works well. Sometimes just petting him and pulling it out works enough to avoid using a brush that day. In the height of shedding seasons, there are two. One is late spring, right now, and again one in August usually. I have in the past gathered enough fur from one sitting to make a fur ball the same size he is. Throughout his life, hairballs have caused the biggest issue, and at this late stage in his life I'm diligent about keeping his fur as clean as possible. Clean meaning off of his body as much as possible. Now I just repeat on the other side while keeping the rabbit firmly on my lap. He's actually being very patient today, maybe because he knows this is going on YouTube. When I clean him, all the attention is on him rather than on a video camera as well. I use the blow dryer again now mainly to blow off as much fur as I can before setting him down to munch on a treat. You can see that even on the intake of the blow dryer how much fur is gathered during the taping just from floating around the air and being collected on the intake. It's looking pretty good. And now I'm sure he's ready to get down and do some exploring. Be free, be as free as a bunny can be. The blue container on the floor, by the way, is his litter box. Now it's time to take a bit of broccoli and kale. He's a very good boy at 11 years old. Rabbits are actually very clean animals as well. Now he's decided to do a little more cleaning on his own. I just have to watch he doesn't scratch around his eye too much. And now off to explore.